welcome back. Today we're going to be doing a painting of grapes on a vine. So I have actually a little grape leaf here that we have a lot of grapes growing around the area, and this is a grape leaf. So that's just to show you the shape. And what I've done is I have my canvas here, and I'm going to you already coated it with just a coverage of light green, just for the sake of time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of my larger brushes. This is like a 1/2 inch as opposed to the inch brush. I hope you guys can see it, but anyway, it's good if you could see it since this is a painting tutorial. But anyway, so I'm going to take some more of my light green. Today we're using a light green, a couple different shades of purple, but you can always make your own colors, as I've said before. This is a darker purple, more of a violet, and this is a more traditional purple. We have white, the light green, we have brown, and true green here. But you can always take just white and add it to a purple and make a lighter tones, or you could mix up your own purples with blue and red. So I'm gonna just coat the, I've got to check here to make sure we're, okay, good, that we're still recording. So I'm going to coat here with some of the light green again, going back and forth, just to get a kind of that wet base. There we go. So we have a nice coating of the light green. Now what we're going to do is we're going to start adding some vines. So I'm going to take some of the brown and some of the regular green, and I'm going to make sort of a mossy green. Make sure you can see it there. Yep, there we go. Gotta check. Like I say, my videos, I don't edit. Whatever happens, happens. The only time I edit my videos is if I need to take out some for the sake of time, if I go over a little bit, which I tend to do because I just can talk. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna start to make some indications of some vines here. Now some of these are gonna get covered up, but we're just gonna try to, this is just gonna help us gauge where we're gonna put things. Now we're gonna start with some leaves. Now as I said, the leaf, if you look at it here, it's sort of a heart shape with points. So we're gonna leave this here. It's kind of dried up. It was fresh when I picked it, but I didn't get to do the video right away, so it's sort of dried up. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some of the green that we just made up and add some of the lighter green to it. And you can play around with colors as much as you like. You can do whatever kind of green you want. If you want to make this different colors, you can even do your leaves blue if you like. Whatever your imagination would like to do, it's your painting. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start making some leaves. So I'm gonna start with like a heart shape there, and you can see the wet paint's coming through, and that's good because it's gonna help us, give us some shadows there. And we're gonna let this dry at some point. I'm gonna stop and just let it set, but I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna bring out the points like this. There we go. It's gonna bring out some of the points. There we go. And then I'm gonna get the shape. Okay, and I'm gonna go around and I'm gonna do that. And if we get a little bit of the regular green on there, that's fine. Whoops, now see, that's a mistake. I just paint right across, but that's fine. We're not gonna worry about it. We're just gonna go with it. So I'm gonna put this paint there, and then I'm gonna bring out some points, and then bring it all together. There we go. Okay, do that. Okay, so I'm just gonna go down and I'm gonna place these leaves, and I'm grabbing just, you don't even have to mix, you can just sort of take a little bit of each color, the light green, the dark green, and we're just gonna go and make our leaves. There we go. Bring out the points and bring it down. Okay, so I'm gonna do a few of these. Points. Okay, and I think I'm gonna put one more here. after this, I'm going to stop the video and just kind of let things set for a few minutes. As I've said, acrylic paint dries pretty fast. This is what we're using as acrylic paint for this tutorial. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to turn this little thing into some sort of vine there, and we'll do something with that later. Okay, so I'm going to stop the video and let this set. I'll be right back. Okay, so we're back. We've let our painting dry a bit. So now we're going to go back in with, I think I'm going to use this, the 1/2 inch larger brush again. Okay, so we're going to go in and we're going to take some more of the light green and the dark green and a little bit of the brown. And now we're going to go in and sort of put a finishing layer on these leaves. We're going to go follow what we did before, the shape of the leaf, and just kind of put another coat on it. And if some of the other color comes through, that's great. There we go. Okay, just making sure it's recording properly. All right, there we go. And if you feel more comfortable using a smaller brush, you can do that too. So you kind of outline it like that, and then sort of brush down and brush down. Okay, so now we have some leaves. Now what I want to do is go in and get some of the, get some purple in there, get some of the white, and maybe mix it with a little bit of the green, this green tone we've got here. And you really can play around with the colors. You don't have to like, there's really no right or wrong way to do it, but if you get like a little bit of, like, see, I'm just kind of dabbing it into the paint, load your brush with some various tones, and I'm just going to kind of now lightly go in and add some of this white, kind of lighter mixed up white with the green to give it a little bit of a highlight there, show some depth. There we go. And then if you want to go back in with a little bit of the dark, maybe mix a little of the green and the brown together. You can even just sort of brush some of that on the side, like that. Just we're building up tones, that's all we're doing. Just kind of building up the tones. There we go. All right, now we're gonna let that set for a minute. Now we're gonna work on some grapes. So I'm gonna take my famous long thinner brush here, okay, and I'm gonna go into the deeper, these are gonna be Concord grapes, so they're gonna be purple. So it's gonna be a nice contrast with the green. And you're gonna load your brush up with some of the deep purple, okay? And we're just gonna go in, and this is sort of where you kind of have to use your imagination, a bunch of grapes. So you want to start, you're gonna start with making a grape shape. And you're just gonna start by making little circles. Keep loading that brush up with a little bit of paint. You start a little bit larger on the top. This bunch is going to go over this leaf, sort of, okay? So you're kind of making that, it's a little bit larger here, and it's going down to the last single grape. Okay, you want to do one here. A bunch of grapes. You can add, kind of fill it in. There you go. Okay, I'm going to do that a couple of times. I think maybe I'll add some here in the background. And we're going to add some indications of grapes later. Okay, so now, oops, still need this brush. Now I'm going to go in with a little bit of the lighter, make sure you dry your brush off, lighter tone, and I'm gonna swirl some of that in. Now we're gonna try to give these grapes some definition. So we're just gonna swirl this lighter tone into some of them. Maybe some have a little more than others. Here. Go. Okay, and lastly, we're gonna take some white. And get a little bit of white loaded up on the brush. And we're gonna go and we're gonna swirl that into some of the areas. We're gonna have to keep loading it because some of it's gonna pick up on that. Kind of just, if you kind of want to just focus on one side of the grape, bring it out like that. There we go. Boop, 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 all the way down. And then if you want to go back with a little bit of the dark and just kind of float that in there, you can do that, or you can leave it as it is. It's up to you. And if you put it on kind of thick, it will give it a little bit of a dimension. It'll kind of pop off. It'll dry, pop off the canvas a little bit. There we go. Just doing indications of grapes. Okay, now I'm gonna take, whoops, no, I'm about to take this 1/2 inch brush. Now we're just gonna kind of fill in a little bit. We're gonna do some green and a little bit of white. I'm gonna get kind of dry it off on there, and I'm just gonna kind of put some, maybe a little more green, put some indications of things going on in the back, kind of filler stuff in the background going on. Indication of something going on in the background there. And if a little purple comes off, that's fine, because we are going to do some purple. Now we're going to take some of the dark purple, some white. And we're going to put some of that in there. Maybe there's some other grapes going on back there. There we go. And you can go all the way to the edge, or you can kind of leave some of the, you can use sort of the edge of the brush or the tip of the brush. Kind of patting that all in there. Okay, so now we're going to go back to our thin brush. Take some of the brown and the darker green, and I'm going to add, and you don't have to do this, but you can do this if you like. If you get it real, roll it right into there, a little brown and green, and you can sort of just use the tip, and you can add some of these veins. Oops, get it just right. Some veins in the leaves here. Like that. A little wet, more wet. So you come down at a little bit of a curve to give it some shape. Use the very edge of the brush. I did want to show you now, you might also want to do some grapevines, some more grapevines on top, which you would sort of do like a brown green. Whoops. And you would just sort of have the vines now, like we did at the beginning, but these sort of are going to finish it off. Kind of. It's important that the paint is pretty wet. You want to roll it into that brown green tone. You can kind of just use the very edge of your brush, kind of go around with the vein. You can do some curls. There we go. Maybe a little stem coming off there. Do some more of the veins. And if you do that little, whoops, I got a little purple in there, that's fine. Go with a little brown. You see, if you do that sort of curved line, it gives the leaf a little bit of shape. Okay? So I'm going to finish this up, and I hope you enjoyed this little painting.